Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU Audiobooks, Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Continuing Education, SOCA. Certificate in Apparel Merchandising, CAPMER. BHC 006 Fashion, Textiles, Product Development and Merchandising. Block 1 Introduction of Fashion and Consumer Behavior. Unit 1 Elements and Principles of Design. 1.0 Objectives. Clothing can make us feel and look good because it is designed that way. We all have a favorite clothing item in our wardrobes and we may like it for several reasons like its color, shape, harmony, balance etc. All these are actually the elements and principles of design that together create a pleasing garment. Let us learn about these in detail in this unit, after which you will be able to understand the basics of design and the design process, discuss all the elements of design, identify and explain the principles of design, and learn how to use design elements keeping in mind the design principles to create an aesthetically appealing garment. 1.1 Introduction. This blog deals with fashion and consumer behavior. To understand the basics of fashion, we need to first understand the basics of design, the design process and the basic components of design, i.e. the elements and principles of design. This unit covers all of these and gives a detailed description of each. It explains the sequence of steps which a designer logically follows in developing a design, the design process, the ingredients, i.e. the elements of design and the methods by which these elements of design combine and relate to each principle of design to obtain a harmonious product. 1.2 Design. Design is a specific version or variation of a style. It is the organization of design elements using design principles to create an aesthetically pleasing product. The term applies to both the product and the process. The design process for any product depends on the understanding of design elements and principles. It can be achieved by structural, functional and decorative design. Structural design. Structural design is that which determines form, but not surface. Ornamentation. This involves the cut of the fabric, its texture, the elements of construction and how they relate to one another and to the figure. A structural design not only contributes attractiveness to the garment but it also allows the garment to function. The challenge for a designer is to make a flat piece of fabric which is two-dimensional into a three-dimensional form keeping in mind the human figure. In order to obtain a shape that will adjust to the body or fit closely, it is often necessary to cut sections of fabric and put them together using various construction techniques. The most common method is by use of a seam, which attaches two pieces of fabric together. Other construction techniques are darts, tucks, pleats and gathers. Functional design. Functional design refers to the way in which apparel performs the practical aspects of the garment such as how it should open, how it should close and how it drapes when worn contributes to its functional design. If we consider a pocket, it also has to be designed keeping in mind what it will contain, what size is appropriate for its intended use, whether it should have a flap or closing, etc. Therefore, we can say that functional design commands an even greater focus as the purpose becomes more specialized. Decorative design. The structural design is reinforced or enhanced by appropriate selection of the fabric in color and addition of trims, ornaments or embellishments. Decorative design develops from the design elements such as color, texture, shape and pattern lines. The structural and decorative design should unify to create a harmonious look. 1.3 Elements of design. The elements of design provide a baseline for designing garments that have an aesthetic appeal. They are the building blocks of design. They must be incorporated in a pleasing combination to achieve a beautiful look in the garment. The various elements of design are 1. Shape, 2. Form, 3. Space, 4. Line, 5. Color, 6. Texture. Let us now look at each of these in greater detail. Shape. Shape is a two-dimensional area enclosed by a line. It is intimately related to form. The outline created by the line is known as silhouette. The silhouette is frequently divided into smaller shapes within the garment using seam lines, details and garment edges. These shapes add styling to the silhouette and help to achieve a better look. It also allows for combination of two or more fabrics and allows the designer to create optical illusions through lines. A silhouette which refers to the predominant shape of the garment must complement the body type on which it has been worn. There could be some point of highlight in a garment like sleeves, collars, shoulders etc. 3 Basic silhouettes, Fig. 1.1, that have been prevalent in the society during various times in the history of fashion are 1. Straight or tubular, also referred to as rectangular silhouette, it is the simplest silhouette of all. A dress with a straight silhouette will have almost the same measurements for the bust, waist and hem. For example, shift dress. 2. Belle or bouffant, also referred to as the ball gown silhouette. This silhouette is narrow and fitted till the waist and then flares generously to the hem to make a bell-shaped bottom. This silhouette is typically found in wedding dresses and ball gowns. 3. Back fullness or bustle, as the name suggests, this silhouette has fullness in the back featuring a severely tailored figure from the front. Form. Form is three-dimensional area enclosed by a surface. With reference to fashion design, it has two meanings. First, in case the form is hollow, the interior is perceived as volume. Thus, form refers to structural clothing parts that relate to and complement the exterior contours of the body. Second, if the form is solid, its interior is described as mass, and therefore the term refers to the body itself, bounded by contours and concave areas of the human body, covered by skin. Space. The area within or around a shape is called space. A filled space is called a positive space and an unfilled space is a negative space. A positive space is advancing while a negative space is receding. The human form may be perceived as having space in several directions. A silhouette is expressed as a shape, but it represents a form moving in space. Ease is the designer's term for the space between the body and the garment. Ease has three forms: wearing ease, designer's ease and layered ease. 1. Wearing ease is the space required for a person to function and is essential for breathing, moving, bending, sitting and walking. Some fashion categories like swimwear and corsets, etc., have wearing ease to a minimum and have fabric with a good stretch for space. 2. Designer's ease is the space built into the garment to produce stylish silhouette and can vary from body-hugging to voluminous even in the same garment. 3. Layered ease is a type of ease which is given in garments that are to be worn over layers of other garments. It prevents garments worn over, like jackets, other garments, like a shirt and undergarments, from fitting tightly and maintain a good fit even with layers of garments. Line. Line refers to the direction of visual interest in the garment. These lines can be outer shape of the garment or created by construction details like seams, openings, pleats, gathers, tucks, etc. Lines can be straight or curved and, according to their direction, can be horizontal, vertical or diagonal. The style of combination of these can either accentuate or camouflage a figure. Line is also called as point or dot in motion. It is a collection of infinite points. A line divides and encloses space, creating two-dimensional shapes and three-dimensional forms. The impact of line is defined by how frequently it is repeated, its placement and whether it is used symmetrically or asymmetrically. Lines create optical illusions of length and width. A line also varies in its path, thickness, continuity, sharpness, consistency, length and direction. As a line varies in its weight, direction, character, arrangement, or contour of a shape, it conveys a sense of symbolism. It makes the viewer think of a similar object in his environment or in the nature. Vertical lines. As the eye moves up and down in case of a vertical line, the eye measures the length of that area. This adds apparent height or length and makes the body of the wearer look narrower or thinner. Therefore, designers use them to add illusion of height to the human figure. These lines can be in the form of plaids, stripes, vertical seam lines, row of buttons, etc. The placement of the vertical lines is also important. In case the vertical lines are placed spaced out, they lead the eye in a horizontal movement, thereby highlighting the width of the figure and vice versa, i.e. the closer they are spaced together the slimmer you will look. Horizontal lines lead the eye to move from one side to the other, adding apparent width and shortening the body. Horizontal lines can make you look wider or narrower, especially when placed at a wider part of your body. You can look taller or shorter depending on where you place the horizontal lines on your outfits. Fig. 1.4 RNB. Examples of horizontal lines in garments are stripes and borders in horizontal direction, boat neck, off-shoulder, yokes, wide collars, belts etc. that move the eye across the width of the garment. However, if we place thin horizontal lines with narrow spacing in between, they can have a lengthening effect as they lead the eye up and down. This is not true for thick horizontal lines which tend to widen the area. Fig. 1.4c, D and A. Look at the screen. Diagonal or slanted lines. Diagonal lines are incredibly slimming and Wherever they are placed on the body, they will slim that area. In Fig. 1.5a, as you can see, even though the box is exactly the same size, the box on the right looks smaller than the box on the left. Diagonal lines represent movement and energy as they move the eye from one side to other as well as top to bottom. If a diagonal line divides a space, it attracts the eye and moves the viewer's eye along with it. The angle, placement and length of diagonal lines will decide the illusion created by the lines. Fig. 1.5b. If the angle is not too abrupt, diagonal lines add height and give a slimming effect. They can be used to emphasize good features and move the attention away from the problem areas. These lines flatter the body. For example, a V neckline makes the figure look slimmer and taller while lengthening and emphasizing the face, whereas the opposite makes the figure look shorter. Curved or rounded lines, these lines generally follow the contours of the body and are flattering. They give an appearance of fullness and mass. These are found in a garment as neckline curves, collars, sleeves, yokes, hems, etc. They have a unique quality of grace and gentleness. Curved lines have the effect of lengthening when they are almost vertical and widening when they are more horizontal. Color. Color is that element in the garment that attracts our attention first, and therefore it is important that the selected color should please the wearer and at the same time suit the figure type, hair and skin color of the individual. Color selection also depends on the season and occasion. Darker colors that absorb light tend to be more slimming than lighter colors. Bright colors tend to call attention to the figure and give an illusion of bulk, whereas light colors tend to flatten the face. Color dimensions. There are 3 dimensions of color. Let's discuss each of them one by one. Hue. It refers to the visible component of the color when any surface is viewed under light. The appearance of the color depends on the components of light it reflects and absorbs. For example, when we say a surface looks blue, it means that it absorbs all the colors of light except blue, which it reflects. The names of colors are given according to their hue. Intensity. It refers to the brightness or dullness of a color. Bright colors have higher intensity as compared to pale colors. Value. It indicates degree of lightness or darkness of a color. Value of a color increases when we add white to it and it decreases when we add black. Addition of white to a pure color produces a tint and addition of black produces a shade. Color wheel. All colors of the spectrum are placed in a color wheel. Fig. 1.7, according to the relation they have with each other. Red, blue and yellow are pure colors and are called primary colors since other colors are derived from these colors. When we mix 2 primary colors in equal proportion, we get a secondary color. For example, on mixing red and yellow we get orange. Blue and yellow make green, and red and blue make violet. These are located exactly in between 2 primary colors on the color wheel. A mixture of a primary color with its neighboring secondary color gives a tertiary color. For example, blue-green, blue-violet, red-violet, etc. Therefore, there are 3 primary colors, 3 secondary colors and 6 tertiary colors on the color wheel. Color schemes. Color schemes help in assembling a set of colors that synchronize or contrast well with each other. Various color schemes, shown in Fig. 1.8, have been discussed below. Look at the screen. Fig. 1.8 Different types of color schemes. Monochromatic color scheme. This scheme uses a single color with just its shades and tints. For example, pink, red and maroon. Ensembles that are made up of a single color or shades of that color tend to slim down the figure as they create the illusion of height. Analogous color scheme. Combination of colors next to each other on the color wheel provides an analogous color scheme. For example, red-orange and orange, blue-violet and blue, etc. Analogous color scheme also adds visual height. Complementary color scheme. Colors placed opposite to each other on the color wheel are complementary, such as red and green, blue and orange, and yellow, orange and blue-violet. They may seem overbearing on clothing. Therefore, they are used in smaller quantities in varying tints, shades or intensities. Split complementary color scheme. 2 colors on each side of the complementary colors produce split complementary color scheme. For example, yellow with red-violet and blue-violet are red with blue-green and yellow-green. Triad color scheme. 3 colors placed equidistant on the color wheel produces a triad color scheme, such as yellow, red and blue. Multicolored schemes tend to break up the space. Therefore, it helps to break the height when used on a very tall person. Color types. Warm colors, cool colors and neutral colors are three types of colors. Colors associated with sun and fire are known as warm colors. For example, red, yellow and orange. They signify aggressiveness and liveliness. Warm hues create an illusion of forward movement and make the objects appear larger and closer, thereby emphasizing the body shape. Colors of the sky and sea are cool colors, such as blue and purple. These colors make the objects appear smaller and farther away as compared to the objects in warmer hues. Neutrals are a part of every fashion season. They are always popular. Examples of neutral colors are black, tan, brown, gray, beige and white. Texture. Texture describes the surface appearance and feel of a fabric. A fabric's hand determines how it drapes. The texture of a fabric affects how we perceive color. Shiny surfaces reflect light, emphasizing the color and making the figure look larger. Stiff fabrics stand away from the body. Fabrics with a good drape tend to cling to the body. There are two types of textures. Tactile texture, it is the result of touch. Tactile texture is also called actual texture, in which the designer creates the surface as part of the product. Visual texture, it is the visual perception of the surface. Visual texture is also called simulated texture, which is created by rendering of a real texture. The look can be so real that the viewer expects the feel of the material on the surface. The texture of a fabric can be attributed to a combination of the following factors. You will read about them in greater details in the next block. Fibers, these are raw materials that are spun into yarns and woven or knitted into cloth. They can be natural or man-made and staple or filament. Filaments, like nylon, are shiny and smooth and have a cool touch. Staples like cotton are dull, fuzzy and have a warm touch. Fabric textures are the result of the inherent characteristics of raw materials, for example, smooth silk filament. Fibers are used to make luxurious and rich look fabrics. Yarn is the result of fibers spun together in order to form its structure. As a result, distinctive textures emerge from different techniques used in creating yarns from fibers. The extent of yarn twist achieved while the yarn is being spun also influences the final product. For example, low twist yarns with lustrous filament fibers give a shiny texture. The number of strands twisted together to make a yarn also contribute to its texture. Fabric construction, it has the greatest impact on texture. It is the method used to interlock fibrous yarns together into a flat surface like knitting, weaving and felting. All these methods lend a different texture to fabric. Finish. Fabric finishes vary the texture of the fabric. They can be chemical or mechanical treatments. Finishes greatly vary fabric texture, like the use of calendering finish to give a smooth finish and the use of napping finish to create fuzziness on fabric surface. 1.4 Principles of Design. The principles of design serve as guidelines for combining elements of design in an aesthetic way. These include the following: proportion, balance, rhythm, emphasis, harmony. Let us discuss each of these in detail. Proportion. Proportion can be defined as the relationship of the parts of a garment to each other and to the body as a whole. In a garment, silhouette may be divided into construction lines, thereby creating spaces which must relate to one another and to the whole garment. A proportionate garment design needs to have proportionate motifs positioned well on the fabric and with reference to the background spaces. To evaluate the proportion in a design, we normally compare the following relationships of the part to the whole, like comparing the skirt to the whole dress, or comparing the silhouette of a part of the garment to the whole within one part, like comparing the division of a bodice into 4 parts. Among parts, like comparing the width of a sleeve to the shoulder width and the hem, the whole to the environment, like comparing the shape of the ensemble to the place where it is likely to be worn. Horizontal lines such as yoke and waistline seams of jacket divide a garment into sections. The ancient Greeks judged proportions by the rule of the golden mean. They believed that ratios of 2, 3, 3, 5 and 5, 8 were the most pleasing to the eye. In general, body size can be divided into 3 categories: small, medium and large. Small people should not select fabrics with large patterns and big accessories. Generally, a short person looks tall if he wears a lower garment 4 to 6 times the size of the bodice. Medium-size category people have a wider range of fabrics to choose from, but should evaluate each article in terms of their body size. Large-size category should not select very small motifs and small accessories, as it will emphasize the body size. Balance. Balance is defined as a sense of stability or equilibrium which results because of even distribution of weight. It is determined by dividing a silhouette Vertically down the middle. There are two types of balance, symmetric and asymmetric. Symmetrical balance, it is also called formal balance and is one of the most common and inexpensive application of the principles of design, Fig. 1.10a. In this the elements are arranged equally on either side of a central imaginary line, which may be vertical or horizontal. For example, the human body is symmetrically balanced, i.e. left side is exactly similar to the right side. This type of a garment lacks creativity and may tend to emphasize any irregularity in the body. Examples of symmetrically balanced garments are trousers, cardigans, etc. Asymmetrical balance, it is also called informal balance. In this, the design on both sides of a central imaginary line is not identical, Fig. 1.10b. Asymmetry must be achieved by an off-center closing or a pocket detail on only one side of a garment, or using any other features. This kind of a balance helps to take the attention away from irregular areas of the body. The human body is asymmetrical in another way. If we divide the human body by a horizontal dividing line placed at the waist, the two parts are not identical. Balance can also be divided into vertical, horizontal and radial balance. Vertical balance, in this, we aim to balance the top of the garment to the bottom, so that it appears to rest on the ground firmly without appearing top-heavy or weighed down. To determine this, we divide the body by an imaginary line vertically through the middle of the figure. Horizontal balance, it considers the balance of body parts above and below the imaginary horizontal line, which could be the waistline, and evaluates whether the elements of design above and below this imaginary line are balanced or not. Fig. 1.11a. Radial balance, it is created when the design details emerge or radiate from a central focus point. This is a common design for creative and evening wear. Fig. 1.11b shows the horizontal and radial balance. Look at the screen. Rhythm. Rhythm may be defined as a pleasing sense of organized movement that gives continuity to a design. When a designer implements rhythm in a design, it guides the eye from one feature on the body to another. It is established through repetition of lines, shapes or colors which give a direction to be followed by the eye. Small objects that are placed closely and repeated over and over again give the impression of a fast pace. Larger objects, widely spaced with fewer repeats, slow down the movement. Rhythm can be a part of the structural design, such as pleats, tucks, buttons for openings, repeated seams, groups of darts, a trim used repetitively or progressively in a garment. Rhythmic variations include repetition, it means repeating a design element. A pattern on the surface of fabric or in the structure of a weave or knit may also feature in the repetition of a line. A construction detail or some element such as shape or color can also create rhythm. Parallelism, it is defined as rows or columns in which all points remains the same distance apart, never seeming to converge. Alternation, two motifs that swap back and forth in a series create alternation. Sequence, a group of motifs repeat in a specified order and create a directional effect. Gradation or progression, a motif that changes in a recognizable pattern step by step. For gradation to be effective, the change must be directional, consistent and distinctly visible. Radiation, repetition that spreads out along lines extending from a central point. Emphasis. Emphasis refers to the center of interest or the focal point which draws and holds attention more than any other part. There should not be many points of emphasis. There should be only one point of interest, and it should relate to the total garment design. This point of emphasis is more dominant than other areas on the garment and is highlighted. Emphasis can be achieved by using contrasting colors, bold and unusual shapes, eye-catching patterns, converging lines, complex textures, attractive design details, isolating an element, centrally placing an element, repetition, interesting trims, any other feature that creates interest. Harmony. Harmony means that all the design elements work together in a garment, producing a pleasing aesthetic appearance. It relates to the total look where all elements of designing garments, accessories, jewelry, hairstyles work together. Pleasing placement of a focal point that suggests rhythm is the key to achieve harmony or unity in a design. Harmony can be achieved by using structural, functional and decorative levels towards a unified result. Maintaining unity in selection and use of the raw materials. Unifying the back and front of the garment. Maintaining unity amongst different garment parts. Placing the style lines, darts and seams, equally above and below the waist. Matching straight grain stripes and plaids at seams and on sleeves. completing the overall design in a unified manner. 1.5 Design process. Design process turns inspiration into creative ideas. Designers generally create a collage of related images to express the main concept, called concept board. This becomes the guiding framework for the entire project. The design process uses two sets of tools: the elements manipulated by the designer: line, shape, form, color, texture, and silhouette. Design principles that help designers evaluate their work: proportion, balance, rhythm, emphasis, and unity. All designers use these same set of elements and principles and apply it to different tasks. We can say that the design process means to design a product, keeping in mind the elements, evaluate it on the basis of the principles, and make necessary changes. However, it is not as simple as it looks. The design process is a series of decisions that the designer or the design team makes one by one, and they move back to stage 1 if they wish to revise it. The following stages are a part of the design process. Stage 1: Structural and functional design. In this stage, designers work with the elements, shape, form, space, and line to create the silhouette using darts, seams, etc., and to make a fabric into a three-dimensional form. The fit is finalized by repeated trials and modifications, and the most suitable openings for the garment are decided and planned. For the functional design, wearing ease, openings, pockets, and other fit and performance factors are finalized that guarantee the comfort of the wearer. Stage 2: Aesthetics. In this stage, the design principles are used: proportion, balance, rhythm, and emphasis to evaluate the structural and functional design created in the first stage. Necessary changes are made if needed. The design principles are not rules or guidelines, but they provide a reliable way to steer the decision process. They provide the criteria for evaluating the aesthetic quality of the structural plan. Stage 3: Decorative design. In this stage, the structural design is reinforced or enhanced. This includes fabric and color selection, and trims, ornaments, or embellishments are also added. Decorative design develops from the design elements: color, texture, shape, and pattern line. This includes details such as top stitching, tucks, ruffles, smocking, etc., trims in the form of braids, ribbons, fringes, beading, etc., and findings such as threads, buttons, zippers, elastic, etc. Stage 4: Appeal. The design is evaluated in terms of design principles once again. Its suitability for the target market and its fitness as per the project brief is also checked. 1.6 Summary. In this unit you have studied about the organization of design elements using various design principles to create an aesthetic and harmonious garment. It can be achieved by structural, functional, and decorative design. The elements of design are shape, form, line, color, and texture. Shape or silhouette is two-dimensional area enclosed by a design. It can be straight, bell, or bustle among the many types that are there. It should complement the body type on which it is worn. Form is a three-dimensional area enclosed by a surface. The area within or around a shape is called space. Lines can be straight or curved, but their direction as well as style of combinations can create different effects. Color as the element of design has three dimensions: shade, value, and intensity. Various color schemes can be used in designing. Color too creates illusions just like lines. Texture is used to describe the surface appearance or feel of the fabric. It is dependent on fibers, yarns, fabric construction, and type of finishing given to the fabric. It can affect the fall and drape of the garment. The principles of design: proportion, balance, rhythm, emphasis, and harmony help in combining elements of design in a garment. Proportion can be defined as the pleasing relationship of the parts of a whole to the whole and to each other. Balance is equilibrium of the design parts. It can be classified in different ways into symmetrical, asymmetrical, or vertical, horizontal, and radial balance. Rhythm is established through repetition of lines or shapes or colors to give direction to be followed by the eye. Emphasis draws and holds the attention of a garment the most. Harmony in dressing relates to the total look where all elements of design work together. The design process uses all these tools effectively to create a perfect product for its selected target market. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next video with the next chapter.